Hi everybody. I thought it would be a good idea just to do a last minute Zoom because I know everybody's really busy this week sorting their bookings and getting ready for opening on Saturday. So I thought I'd do a last minute Zoom so that you can, at your leisure, listen to it if you want to, or maybe after you've opened if you've got time. So just a quick thing. I think it's quite a good idea for those of you that don't already do it. It's a good idea to take the opportunity to think about putting in a reservation fee. So I just wanted to talk to you about the dialogue and the difference between a reservation fee and a deposit. So a deposit doesn't stand up in law. You would have to pay a deposit back. But if you call it a reservation fee, then and you have a policy for it, it doesn't have to be refunded. So just one idea, you could say charge £10 for 30 minutes treatments, £20 for 30 minutes to an hour, and £50 maybe a reservation fee for technical work. So that's just something to think about for future, but just remember the difference between a deposit and a reservation fee. Okay, so moving forward, clearly we're going to be really busy, hands-on, creative with our customers, but it's so important to think about our strategy and how we're going to work forward. So I know that hairdressers don't like thinking that they are in sales, but we are. Anybody that is customer facing is in sales, and the hairdresser's mindset has to change. If we're going to be profitable for the future, we need to get our heads around that and make every member of our team realise that they are in too. So I've done a PowerPoint. I did do a workshop last week with a few salon owners, but I thought it'd be helpful just to record it again, and then if it's of any of use to you, then brilliant. So I'm just going to try to share my screen. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm really not brilliant with technology, so let's just see what happens if I can get this open. So I've called this the 5R strategy, and I have actually written a letter as well, which I've composed, which is preparing your customers for how they can behave. So bear with me, and let me just see if I can play slideshow. Okay, so here we go. So profit is for the planners. Most definitely, we know this. We are in sales, as I've just said. So when we get going and the rubber hits the road, there ain't no going back. We have to hit those sales. So when I spoke to the group, I said, I told you I wasn't going to hold back the punches. There's going to be no pink and fluffy delivery here with this PowerPoint. It most definitely is survival of the fittest. Everyone, yourself and your team, has to develop a mindset that has a focus on revenue, profitability, and growth. So you only want players in your team that think of this as their sport. It's a bit like a football team. Everybody on that team needs to be playing with the strategy that the managers have set, and the ones that aren't working in that way get put on the sidelines. So it's about everybody turning up to the job and saying, what can I do better? I'm here today to make a difference to our business performance. So this also is about leadership and accountability, but every person in your team has to turn up with an attitude of what can I do better? It's a focus on revenue, profitability, and growth, not just about creating beautiful hair. The whole team has to work towards the strategy and growth of the business. An apprentice or receptionist may feel they don't impact their sales, but actually we know they do. Every customer-facing interaction impacts sales. Every team member has to develop an attitude of I'm here today to make a difference to our business performance, an attitude of what can I do better. I've repeated myself because this is so important. Hairdressers don't like thinking that they're in sales. Why is that? I think, and I said I wasn't going to hold back any punches, it's results versus excuses. You know, we hear it all, don't we? Oh, the customer can't afford it. They assume that they can't. You have to assume that they can. And if you're thinking that you're not in sales, it's sales actually getting a customer to sit in your chair. It's up to us to expand on all of this. And I do feel that this is linked to the self-worth of the stylist. So now is the time to raise our value of ourselves and have the confidence to realize that we are in sales moving forward. So here's a fact: people are buying shampoo. You only have to look at the TV commercials to know that. Even a bald guy needs shampoo, and you're not selling anything that people don't need. The question is, the client is in your chair. Does she buy your shampoo? Are you questioning if you're in sales? You're in sales because that's what it takes to get someone in your chair. Results versus excuses. Again, I've said it twice because it's so important. It's non-negotiable. The client allows you to cut, colour, use chemicals on her hair. How come they don't buy shampoo from you? Be true to yourself and ask yourself, why would they not buy from you? Results versus excuses. And again, I told you that I wasn't going to pull any punches. You have to ask yourself, if somebody's coming to you and you know that their hair needs a certain product because they want bleaching, or they've had a copper tone, or I'm just using things as an example, why would you want them to use something that's going to harm or damage what you've done? At the end of the day, they're going to blame you for it. So why are you allowing them to get away from this? It's not all about budget. So it's about changing your dialogue and your approach, and realizing that even a stylist who has a client base is a leader too. It's about you leading and educating and empowering your customers, and it's about the salon owners leading and educating and empowering the team to be on board with your strategy. And also, everybody needs to be accountable for their actions, because like I said before, this is about working towards the sales and profitability and growth of the business, which is supporting the whole team. This is about providing stability, financial stability for everyone that's in it. And the business is so, so important. So people buy shampoo, but do they buy from you? Part of our expertise is, where is my client's value on shampoo? Some clients use nothing on their skin. Some pay £2 to £3 on skincare, and another may spend £70 to £80. This is about, how do we educate and guide our clients? So many times we go on courses and we've learned all this knowledge, but are we actually imparting this onto our customers, or are we spending time chatting about other things? Don't get me wrong, a personal relationship is really important with a client, but it's job first, chat later. So there's a few key statements that I use when I'm working with my customers to lead into a consultation. And I'm not trying to teach anybody how to do a consultation. That's not my role. But I just want to share with you some key statements. So this one I find is brilliant. Keeping your hair looking good and feeling its very best is 60% the magic we create here, and 40% how you care for it at home. That's quite a powerful question or a statement to say to a client, because you're embedding in them the right mindset. They understand the why, that you've got to embed the why in somebody, the reason for them wanting to purchase something from you in the first place. And the second question that I ask is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is your hair to you? If somebody says a 2, then for them it's just a transaction and they're just coming into you for a cut or a colour. And then maybe you should be asking yourself why you're serving a customer like that anyway. But if somebody says to you, that it's between a 7 and a 10, and their hair is important to them, then already, you're realising that actually there is every reason for them to purchase your product. So I find that they're really good statements to lead you into your consultation. So at the moment, our strategy is about maximising our exposure. Right now, there's a big focus on supporting local business. So let's maximise this to the ultimate. So as part of a wider strategy, we need the help of our local communities and clients. So you need to get out there and tell people you need their support. Join forces with other local businesses and keep talking about them to your clients, as well as sharing on social media. Don't let this feeling run out of puff. This is so important. Collaborating right now with your local community is essential. Do not allow the big supermarkets and faceless corporations to take the biggest slice. We need to keep this feeling alive. So I think it was only last week that I saw something on Facebook where a wildlife park had closed down. And there was an outpouring and an outrage on social media. People were sharing the posts, but quite frankly, the outrage, stay away. And everybody has to support. So I can't tell you the importance of keeping this wider strategy, collaborating with other businesses, and not just sharing the posts while the customers sat in your chair, talk about these businesses. I know, I mean, I've seen the creativity from some businesses. Our local pub has turned into a bakery, and I've been paying about £3.50 for a loaf of bread. I know that's a lot more than from a supermarket, but do I care? No, because in my heart, I know I want to help keep this pub alive. And they've been doing takeaways. I've watched other businesses be so creative and so resourceful with what they're doing. So we need to keep this feeling alive. So working on the wider strategy is also just as important as what you do with your strategies inside the salon. So when the going gets tough, we have to fight for our dinner. We know that we're going to have a tough time ahead. So we've probably got about 4 weeks, I would say, of it feeling like it's Christmas. And then we also know what comes after Christmas. So not to scare everybody, but we obviously know that we're heading into quite a tough recession. So if you think of a litter of pups, and the runt of the litter always gets pushed out, and then the kind owner comes along and puts a separate bowl of food down for the runt of the litter. And what happens? The big bully boy comes along and takes it off it. So just because your customers might be kind to you and they're going to support you, there are going to be bully boys out there who are working on strategies on how to get your customers. So we've got to fight for our dinner. And what I do know from my experience over the years is that businesses that have got strategies for profit will always do better than those businesses that haven't. And it's like I said before, it's no longer about just creating beautiful hair. So take heart. So there's something called the lipstick factor. So in World War II, despite the terrible shortages, women still found money for lipstick. So women tend to indulge in the small luxuries in harder times. And this is a fact that during recessions, salons can actually do very well. So we need more wind in our sails at this time and our eye on the game. And like I said before, it's no longer just about having a good time with the client and being creative. It's what do we need to do to get the business to where it needs to be. So not only do we need a really great customer experience, and we need to be using, all the knowledge that we've been taught by Le Beer Satique, we've got to make sure we're keeping our eye on the game with these strategies. And this strategy is one that requires a tremendous amount of communication. We've got an advantage because as stylists, we're absolutely fantastic at communication. So we've got the edge already. So what we're talking about is putting your hearts into the communication that you have with your clients right now. Because right now, customers are looking at us in a very different way. They are so fond of us, they can't wait to see us. And we need to keep hold of this feeling and try and keep this alive. Don't let it come out of puff. So we need to prepare the pitch. I've always thought of business as being a combination of war and sport. It's all about tactics and strategies. Can you imagine a football manager sending his team out onto the pitch without a strategy? What would happen? They might win, they might not. Chances are it would all fall apart and it would all be down to the team to try and put it together. So why do we let this happen in our salons? We need to prepare the pitch and think of the team like a football team and implement strategies. So I call this the 5 R's, and these are the 5 things that really need to be concentrated on, as well as the luxury customer experience and them having a great time and quality product as well. So focusing on the rebook right now is massively important. We probably know that a lot of customers have learned now that they can stretch their hair appointments out further, which isn't a good thing, but we need them to know that it would really help us if they would rebook in advance. Now, I prepared a letter, which I think some of you have probably seen already, which I'll post up again, so that you can actually prepare your customers. So preparing the pitch, preparing your customers as to how they can behave right now. You've probably found that every client wants to be your best friend right now. I personally have done quite well for flowers because all my clients are wanting to get those first bookings. So if they want to be your best client, then we can tell them how they can be our best client. So asking for the rebook is really important. This performance indicator from your rebook is money, potential money in the bank for you that you can count moving forward. So we can do our cash flow projections based on these. So this is really important. And we can tell our customers that whilst they're in our book, they're in our heads, our thoughts, our hearts, you know, they're more likely to be given preferential treatment. So the rebook is really important. Recommendations. I mean, asking your customers to recommend their friends and assuring them that we're going to treat them really well. We're going to need some new clients. Now, me personally, I don't really like recommend a friend in terms of discounting and offering money in advance to somebody coming to you. I like to reward a client, but that's entirely up to you. The review is going to be massively important. It helps our search engines, puts you up at the top of the list. People trust reviews. And then we have our retail. Retail is going to help fill the gap. So if you can't do a customer in between your cut and colour, which is the way that I work anyway, one-on-one, I bridge that gap. So the profit that I would normally have made from another client, I'm filling that gap with my retail. And then lastly, the repurchase. So make it really easy for your customer to rebuy. So we'll go through these again, but it's on the letter. So preconditioning the clients and the team. So we need to leverage every opportunity that is out there right now and let it be known that we need the help of our local communities and clients. Communication is key, and where we can get the edge, it will run out of puff if you communicate too early. You've only got to look at some of the adverts on TV at the moment. I think there's one for pharmacies where they've been pulling on the heartstrings and saying that they've been there for the NHS and they've been servicing people all through lockdown, but right now they're running at a loss and they need people to support them. So there's a strategy there. So whilst people are feeling really fond of them, they're really pulling on the heartstrings, and we can do the same. So like I said before, there's a letter that I've prepared that you could also, if you wanted to, wrap up in there somewhere about potentially putting in a price increase. And I did a whole strategy on price increasing separately. If anybody wants a copy of that, let me know. So focusing on the 5 R's: rebook, recommend, review, retail, repurchase. The whole team needs to be thinking about these 5 R's. Let's go back through this. Rebook. This is essential for the forward planning of your business, the indicator for your cash flow. An appointment in the book is money for the future. You've prepared your clients on the 5 R's through different platforms. The team must follow through, and there must be accountability for this. Recommendations. There are a lot of new clients around. After your initial busy 4-week period, what happens? Clients may be looking to stretch further in between appointments. Train the dialogue to the team. And talking about incentives, which I did before, I personally think the client that recommended should be rewarded with around a £5 or maybe £10 voucher. Incentivizing a new client on price never felt right to me because I work with grade A and B clients. So just touching on the grading of clients, one of the first things I do when I'm business coaching is ask businesses to grade their customers from A to D. So for me, I only work with grade A clients. So these are the ones who have technical haircuts, they have full colours, treatments, buy retail, skincare, makeup, they recommend. I do a lot of business people, so they're well connected on the business circuit. So you get the gist of that. Whereas a grade D client might be somebody who, I don't know, is a student who comes to you maybe twice a year, or somebody who walks in the door and only wants a dry cut. So there's also something called the 80-20 rule. So there was an Italian economist who realized, I think it was in about the 1920s, I think his name's Vilfredo Pareto, if you wanted to research him. He found that 80% of the Italian economy came from 20% of the input. So that's quite powerful. It's quite a powerful theory. So you can put it to other things. So for instance, look at your wardrobe. You will wear 20% of your wardrobe 80% of the time. 20% of your retail you will sell 80% of the time. Therefore, 20% of your actions within your business produces 80% of your profit. 20% of your client base produces 80% of your profit. This is where the grading of customers is really important. So if you have a team from what I call top to bottom, where you've got your rapid growth, this might be somebody who is newly qualified, and then you've got your top director level. We know that the top 20% of the team are producing 80% of the profits. So it's an important thing to know and actually decipher exactly what grading clients that you want to work with. So an important strategy there that you can use too. So review. So we know that reviewing your business, ask your customers to leave reviews for you on Facebook, Google, Yelp, any other platforms, because we know this helps their search engine optimization. So this is how a customer will show their loyalty to you. Obviously, we don't want that reverse loyalty of negative reviews. And then let's talk about retail. So we always find with stylists that retail can be the elephant in the room. My business model has always worked around retail. So like I said to you before, I bridge the gap in the middle where other people are maybe running a system that I call rack 'em and stack 'em, where you've got a lot of customers, so you're working at a lower cost price and you're reliant on profit by getting lots of bums on seats. I wanted to work with my grade A customers and make sure that they were on the retail. So in order to do well with retail, you need to make sure you've got a good stock holding. So this picture here is actually from the beautiful salon in Paris, at Le Biestique salon, obviously, and the academy is upstairs. So if you're to look at this shelving here, I work on my own. And I service around 13, 14 customers a week, and I hold this much stock. So I would normally reckon that I would sell around 20% of my stock holding a week. So I hold around £3,000 worth of stock. So if you're a serious retailer, we need to make sure that we have enough stock on the shelves. Obviously, at the moment, we know that customers can't go up and they can't touch the stock, but we need to make sure that we look like we are a retail business too. If we're going to make profit from this, then we need to be serious about this. So I am one of these people, one of these limited company directors who's fallen through the loop through lockdown, where I've not been able to claim any funding. I have a shared premises here with my daughter's business, and I wasn't able to claim any grants, and I'm paid dividends because I'm limited company, and my PAYE is registered annually. So therefore no furlough payment for me either. Thank God I have a serious retail business. So I've always viewed my hairdressing and my retail separately. My retail goes into a separate account. So the amount that I've been retailing actually has kept me going through lockdown. And I really feel now that it's so important that everybody gets their head around this sales aspect, because moving forward, are you going to be able to go back to what I call rack 'em and stack 'em, or do you even want to? Because working with less customers and being able to upgrade their appointments and use the Le Biestique rituals, sell treatments, sell more retail, is a lovely way to work. The work really improves, you don't feel as tired, you've got more quality time with your customer. So the taking your retail business really seriously means that it's still working for you while you're asleep. So it's a really important part of our strategy moving forward. And then obviously after the retail, so let's just talk about retail strategies for a start off. So these are just a few things to think about. I know we're always so busy thinking about servicing the customer, but we also can have retail strategies, and I've just thrown these down just as a few examples that I used to do. So for instance, you could have a detox month for skin and scalps. So you could highlight the Le Biestique lotion disencrustant. So that could be that coming out of lockdown, because of all the poor eating and maybe unhealthy lifestyle some of us have had, that we can highlight the fact that there's a need to detox everybody's scalps. Something that I do is spring, summer, autumn, winter, I highlight the need for some extra vitamins and minerals, and I talk to people about the Fanalan Synergy capsules. So I aim to get my customers, at least half my client base, on these Synergy capsules twice a year. So you could have a strategy moving forward that you're going to give a goal of selling a shampoo and a scalp lotion to every solitary client. So you'll scalp check them and then have this strategy. It could be for the long hair because they're all out of condition, that you're going to focus on sugar long range to them. You could also think about offering bundles, which we used to do, you know, aim for 5 products and maybe the 4th product you might give discount off. And also customers do love a stamp card. I mean, I don't do that here now, but when I had my business in Banbury, even then I was servicing grade A and B customers, and they loved a stamp card. So I think it was after 10 or 12 visits, it would be stamped every time and they'd receive £5 off a service. And we also used to do that for the retail too. I mean, I could afford to do that off, you know, such a big purchase. And you'd look at these women and think, really, you know, is a £5 of benefit to you because you're quite wealthy? But actually it was about more than that. It was about me rewarding their loyalty. So these are all part of your retail strategies. And then let's just look at the numbers game. I've only worked this out really roughly as an example, but let's just say that 40 clients buy the Fanalan Synergy capsules twice a year. The profit on a box of the capsules is £21.60. So if you sell 40 of those, sell to 40 clients, that's £864. If you do that twice a year, that's £1,728. That's just on one stylist. So that's just an example. So your shampoo, it may be, I mean, one of my fastest sellers is Lipocarine shampoo. So let's just say 40 clients buy Lipocarine shampoo 6 times a year. The profit on that is £10.55 times 40. 422 times 6 visits is £2,532. So times that by a few stylists, and you see what a significant difference that's going to make to your bottom line. We're talking profit here. So I always aim for the 5: shampoo, scalp lotion, conditioner, styling product, and retail product. And this is like a ball that I'm holding while I'm doing the hair. I do not let this drop. So it's really important to go for the whole range. And we're not talking selling, we're just educating the customer. But having this focus and this strategy and setting this right, it's not my job to teach you how to do a consultation. All of that comes from Labia Satique. And also, please know that I'm talking to you as an independent stylist and businesswoman and coach. I know that these strategies work. So all this knowledge, you know, you need to learn as much as you can about the products, learn as much as you can about the hair and scalp, and simply educate your client. And trust me that they will, you know, once you've got the confidence from the knowledge, they will purchase from you. So aim for the 5. And then the most important thing is the repurchase, the follow through. Make it really easy for your client to repurchase. We have to keep enough product on the shelf so you don't lose them to another retailer. You know, how bad is that you, a client purchases from you on their first visit and then they call in, oh, I've run out of that product because your stock levels are too low, or next time I haven't got it. What's going to happen? You're going to lose them to online sales, or maybe to supermarket or another brand. We need to make sure that we're taking our retail businesses seriously and there's enough product on the shelf for them. Make online purchasing really easy for them too. The sales of shampoos and conditioners via mobiles is massive at the moment. And all the signs are that by purchasing from mobiles is going to be the place it's at moving forward. So we need to make it really easy for them. We know that we can't give our customers any reading material when they come in, but if we've got our products online or on our Facebook sales or whatever it is, if there's some way that they can actually look at something on their own device, then it's likely they're going to buy from you. So think about the follow through and the repurchase. I personally, well, I've got a web shop going live next week, but my customers text me anyway when they've run out of product. I post out to them. I don't charge for postage and packaging over £20. I always put a little packet of love hearts in there as well, so they feel a bit special. Make sure it's packed up nicely for them. I make it really easy for them to purchase from me. And I even, well, I don't do it myself, but we do deliveries locally in the area. My husband does that for me. So I call him my picker and packer. But whatever I have to do to get my retail products to my customers, I will do. I do not want to lose them to any other brand. So deliveries are really important. So take your retail businesses seriously, because that's going to really help fill the gap if you can do less customers. And if you need more help with this, the Beerstatica there, there are so many, I can share my knowledge with how I do it, but please take this seriously. The signs are that retail is going to be the hero in all of this. So knowledge is power. Educate your clients, don't sell. I mean, look at how La Beerstatica have been with us, the most amazing education that we've had. At no point do they come along and do a hard sales with us. That's not what it's all about. They're just educating us. So it's about giving the customer the why. They've got to understand why, they should purchase this from you. You want to create the most beautiful hair and have the healthiest scalp for them. Therefore, they should purchase from you. I do recommend that you read the letter that goes alongside this, because this is about prepping your customer. So another thing moving forward that's really important to think about is making time to work on the business and not in it. A lot of people have said that they really appreciated the time to really restructure and rethink about their business, because they're so busy standing on the salon floor, working hard, creating beautiful hair, but working in the business is so important. So when I had my my high street salon, we always booked out an hour every Thursday morning for a team meeting, and I could have easily looked at that and thought, oh gosh, look at how much money I could take in that hour. But actually it was so beneficial, because we were able to keep reinforcing these strategies and enable the team to see that they were part of the profit planning and the growth of the business. So it was about empowering the whole team, and everybody realizing from apprentice to the top level, we were all equal. We were all cogs in a wheel working towards the profitability of the business. So if there's one thing I can impart on you, please continue to make time to work on the business yourself, book out time to work on these strategies, and focus on those figures and networking with other people, but also focus on empowering the team and having those regular team meetings. Everyone has the key to do this. It's just a matter of using it. And this is confidence. It's about having the confidence to do it, and you can do it. So I hope, let me just stop sharing this for a second. I hope that's been a little bit of a help to you. I've certainly enjoyed running our group, and I continue to, I'm thinking about further ideas for the future. I wish you all the very best of luck. You know where I am, and I'm here to help. I feel that I've got so much knowledge. I've got my first business when I was 19. I'm qualified as a business coach now, so I'm in a good position to help. I'm not saying I'm coming from a place of perfection, because I'm not. I've made many mistakes, but I have learned from them. And that's what it's all about. It's about seeing those failures as lessons and learning and moving on. And if there's one thing I've learned through this process, I mean, a lovely member of our group, Martin Coleman, said a couple of weeks ago, I asked everybody what they thought, and Martin said, I've learned that I'm a hairdresser through and through. I've learned I'm a businesswoman through and through. I love business. I love working on the strategies. I see this as my sport, and I enjoy the challenge. I rise to the challenge. So I'm here if you need help, and I wish you all the very best of luck, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side. So take care. See you soon.